What's going on, everybody? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and we've got some recent news for Cleanspark. They just released their March mining update, and it's going to give us details of what price they sold their Bitcoin at, how much they sold, how much they produced, and we're going to get into that. But first off, as for my last video, right after I put it out, it was announced with Sphere 3D that the merger was in fact terminated. So I will hold my Sphere 3D up until the end of this year, and might have to take an L on the rest of it. Luckily, we had a nice run with Sphere 3D, and rode it up from about $3 to almost $7. However, I made the mistake of not just selling out completely in hopes of that merger coming through, in hopes of more hype coming in. The merger was delayed, caused a lot of fear. We just got our earnings, revenues down, expenses are rising. But they did give an update that they're now deployed with 1,000 other miners and expecting more and more over time. So I'm going to give Sphere 3D up to about a year. And if it's not at where I want it by the end of this year, might have to cut it loose. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on Sphere 3D, that merger is in fact terminated. The focus on this video is going to be Cleanspark and their mining update. We're also going to look at the chart, and we're going to go over Bitcoin and what it's doing lately. It is pulling back a little bit. But if you appreciate my content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I put out daily videos, and let's go. So in March, we made a monthly production of 318 Bitcoin. Our year-to-date production so far is almost 900 Bitcoin, 898 since the beginning of this year. Now in March, they did convert about 391 Bitcoin. They currently have 23,000 Bitcoin miners running with a total hash rate of 2.3 exahash. This is fantastic. It seemed like just yesterday that they were at about 1.5 exahash. And we're also going to get into their Lancium deal in West Texas. This is also huge. But the company fully funded their growth and operations through the sale of 420 Bitcoin in March at an average of approximately 42,294 per Bitcoin. So you'll notice that Bitcoin is currently higher than that price. That may be why Cleanspark is pulling down so considerably, besides the fact that Bitcoin's pulling back. Of course, Bitcoin pulling back or running up will cause Cleanspark to move in the direction Bitcoin's moving typically, but not always. But also the fact that they sold their Bitcoin at a lower price than it is right now. So this indicates they sold their Bitcoin roughly in the middle of March. And they definitely could have sold it for a lot lower. And to me, this is okay that they didn't get the very top on Bitcoin, because they're mining at such a cheap operating rate that this 42,000, even 40,000, they're making a huge killing on that. They're making a huge profit, because you're talking about each Bitcoin mine cost them like $5,000. So they're at a huge profit margin with that. And their daily Bitcoin production actually reached a high of 10.5. So to me, this is great news. They're continuing to add more hash rate, and they're continuing to mine more Bitcoin per month. And we also have some location updates here. Looking at their Norcross, Georgia facility, they saw significant progress during March with about 600 immersion-cooled Bitcoin miners hashing as of March 31. The company experienced delays with its utility partner related to weather and construction, but all machines needed to fill the facility have been received and are being prepared for immersion cooling. This is going to give them more efficiency, and the company expects the number of machines hashing to rapidly increase over the coming quarter. So as you guys know, with Cleanspark, I'm playing the long game on this. I do have a small swing trade position, but we're going to get into the chart in a second, and I'll give you my points there. But moving on to CoinMint, they have 31 megawatts operational at CoinMint, which is one of the company's co-hosting partners. And the total hash rate at CoinMint is expected to go to about 1.06 exahash by May. And this will be backed by over 11,500 machines. So as for their recent Lancium deal with Texas, their deal for 200 megawatts should bring the company's total hash rate to about 10 exahash by spring 2023. And they also have an option for another 300 megawatts. And if they go with that option of the extra 300 megawatts, they'll be sitting at about 600 megawatts in its portfolio, which would mean about 200,000 of the latest generation miners would be contributing to about 20 exahash to Cleanspark. And right now we're at about right now we're about 2.3. So imagine what 20 will do. You're talking about around 100 Bitcoin. Since we're at 10 with 2, 20 would mean about 100. So this is pretty big. And like I said, I'm long for Cleanspark. I'm very long on Cleanspark. And now when you go down here, there's actually a link for their Bitcoin mined and hash rate growth. And looking at that, you'll see it's on a nice increase. And once we get into spring 2023, that Lancium deal and the option, this is the option, the extra exahash that they could have. This is the extra 300. So just by them getting to 300 megawatts, imagine where we'll be there. So this blue line here on the bottom is the current exahash. I mean, imagine where we'll be at once we double this exahash. Double again, double again, double again. This is definitely, to me, a stock to hold long term, and it will pay out greatly. And it is in fact one of my highest conviction stocks in general. Now looking at Bitcoin's chart here, we are pulling back a little bit, but we're trying to test this trend line here, which happens to kind of roll right along with the 300 MA. I'm feeling great about Bitcoin. I love the fact that we haven't pulled back exactly yet. I mean, we pulled back and retested 44,000 and quickly bounced. We may come back around there and test it again, but we're sitting at almost 46,000. It did pull back just a little bit recently, but you know, if this can become our support, if these resistances here can become our support, I think we're looking good for Bitcoin. But you can tell that Cleanspark did sell most of their Bitcoin right in the middle of the month. That's when it was about 43,000. So it would have been nice if they waited a little bit longer, but hey, you know, they just sell when they sell, and that's fine. Now, looking at Cleanspark's chart, I did tell you that I want to see this support level held, this like 1115 area. Now, we have pulled back quite a bit on the day, and to me, I'm personally okay with an average in. I think it's a great time to average into Cleanspark, but my short-term swinging position, I want to see it pull back just a little bit more before adding to that one. But on my long-term position, totally okay to add, all the way up to about $15 per share. But I would love for it to pull back just a little bit on my shorter term swing trading account. I would like to see roughly 1120. See if we hold that support, but I would start buying into that 1120 area. But that's basically it for you guys. Just a quick update on Cleanspark's mining. I think this is great. They're continuing to add to their exahash. And I think over the long term, this is going to be massive. They honestly shouldn't dilute very much either because they use their Bitcoin towards their growth. So this is great to a shareholder perspective. But that's it, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.